2,700 years ago, a man saw the end of everything, and what he recorded in those ancient scrolls will chill your blood. For 30 centuries, 3,000 years, this vision remained buried in the last chapters of the book of Isaiah. Theologians avoided talking about it. Preachers quickly changed the subject when they reached these pages. Seminaries omitted these verses from their curricula. But today, you will discover exactly why. In the next few minutes, you will literally enter the mind of the prophet who witnessed the very day the creator of the universe looked upon humanity and said a single word: enough. And when you finish watching this video, I guarantee one thing: you will never look at the world around you the same way again. You will never watch the news the same way again. You will never again see global events as isolated coincidences. But before I open this door of no return, before I show you truths that will shake the very foundations of what you believe about the future of humanity, if you are one of those rare individuals who doesn't shy away from the truth, even when it deeply disturbs you, even when it challenges everything you thought you knew, click the like button right now. Because this content, this kind of revelation, only reaches people brave enough to face what millions of others prefer to ignore out of convenience. And if you want to be part of the select and extremely limited group of people who receive revelations like this before any other channel, before the mainstream media, before even most religious leaders find out, then subscribe to this channel now and turn on that notification bell. Because what you are about to discover about Isaiah's visions is just the tip of the iceberg of apocalyptic secrets that I will reveal in the next videos of this series. Now answer me one question with complete honesty. Are you truly ready to see what Isaiah saw on that terrible day in the temple in Jerusalem? Imagine for a moment, you are in Jerusalem. The year is 740 BC. King Uzziah has just died after a 52-year reign, and the entire kingdom of Judah is plunged into absolute panic. Foreign invasions constantly haunt the borders. Political corruption eats away at God's chosen people from within like a spiritual cancer. The rich ruthlessly exploit the poor. Justice has been completely perverted. Morality has crumbled. It is precisely in this scenario of total chaos, of national despair, that Isaiah, a young man from a noble family, possibly related to royalty, receives the most terrifying vision ever recorded in the entire history of humanity. But here's what absolutely no one has told you until today. This apocalyptic vision wasn't just about Israel's dark past. It wasn't exclusively about the brutal invasions of Babylon or Assyria. It was about you. It was about today. It was about what is happening at this very historical moment in which we live. And the question that simply won't go away, the question that will haunt you for the next 50 minutes, is this: has Isaiah's apocalypse already begun to unfold before our eyes? Chapter 6 of the book of Isaiah. A seemingly ordinary morning, like any other, turns into the most terrifyingly terrifying day of a man's life. Isaiah enters the holy temple in Jerusalem to say his morning prayers, as he had done routinely for years. But what he witnesses there leaves him literally petrified with absolute terror. The temple's roof rips as if it were a mere piece of paper. An indescribable light, brighter than 1,000 suns, completely invades the sacred space. And there, at the epicenter of this supernatural manifestation, Isaiah sees something that would change his life forever: a throne, but no ordinary decorative throne made by human hands. The throne, the one from which all authority in the universe emanates, the throne of the Most High. But here is the first devastating truth that will completely shake his theological foundations. Isaiah did not see God taking pity on humanity. He did not witness a manifestation of unconditional love or infinite mercy. He saw the Almighty utterly wrathful. He saw 6-winged seraphim desperately covering their faces, unable to bear the absolute holiness radiating from the throne. He saw the prophet himself, a man considered righteous by society, cry out in utter despair, "Woe is me! I am utterly lost." Why this reaction of terror? Because at that crucial moment, Isaiah understood something that fundamentally changed his perception of reality. God's patience has an absolute limit. Divine tolerance is not infinite. There is a point of no return. And when that limit is exceeded, when the measure of human iniquity overflows completely, holy wrath manifests itself in an overwhelming way. The seraphim cried out to one another, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." And the doorpost shook at the voice of him who cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Isaiah was witnessing the absolute holiness of God manifested in all its fullness. And this holiness, this infinite purity, does not tolerate sin. It does not coexist with iniquity. It makes no compromise with moral corruption. This is why Isaiah cries out, "Woe is me, I perish, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell among a people of unclean lips. My eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." In that instant, before perfect holiness, every human pretense of self-righteousness crumbles completely. All religious pride disintegrates. All spiritual self-confidence is shattered. But the vision was only beginning. What Isaiah would witness in the following chapters would be even more terrifying. Chapters 13 through 27 of the book of Isaiah. Brace yourself, because what you are about to hear has never, absolutely never been preached in 99% of evangelical churches. It has never been taught in the vast majority of theological seminaries. It has never been openly discussed in most Bible conferences. Why? Because here, Isaiah records not comforting promises of blessing and prosperity, but divine decrees of total annihilation. Behold, the day of the Lord comes, horrific, with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate and to destroy its sinners from it. Did you hear that word? To destroy. Not to reform gradually, not to restore patiently, not to re-educate lovingly, to destroy completely. The original Hebrew word is shamad, which means total destruction, complete annihilation, absolute eradication. The stars of the heavens and their constellations will not give their light. The sun will be darkened at its rising, and the moon will not give its light. And I will punish the world for its evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. I will put an end to the arrogance of the proud, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the ruthless. One by one, Isaiah sees in prophetic vision the nations being systematically judged and destroyed. Babylon, the greatest empire of the time, reduced to rubble. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, when God overthrew them, will never again be inhabited, nor will it be rebuilt from generation to generation. Moab, completely annihilated. Surely in one night Ar Moab was destroyed and undone. Surely in one night Kir Moab was destroyed and undone. Damascus, one of the oldest cities in the world, turned into a heap of ruins. Behold, Damascus will be taken away, no longer a city, but a heap of ruins. Egypt, the military superpower of antiquity, humiliated and fragmented. And I will stir up Egyptians against Egyptians, and they will fight each against his brother, and each against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. But the most terrifying, the most utterly shocking, is not what happens to Israel's traditional enemies. It is what the Lord decrees concerning his own chosen people. Woe to the sinful nation, to the people laden with iniquity, to the offspring of evildoers, to the children who have acted corruptly. They have forsaken the Lord, they have blasphemed the Holy One of Israel, they have gone backward. Why should you be wounded again, rebelling more and more? Every head is sick, and every heart faints. From the sole of the foot even to the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores, not closed, nor bound up, nor soothed with oil. Your land is a desolation. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land is devoured by strangers before you. It is desolate as when it is destroyed by strangers. Not even the covenant people escape judgment when they completely abandon the ways of the Most High. Now we come to the part that will literally make you question everything. Absolutely everything you thought you knew about biblical prophecy and the end times. Because what I'm going to reveal in the next few minutes will demonstrate incontrovertibly that Isaiah didn't just write about his own historical era. He didn't prophesy exclusively about ancient invasions or extinct empires. He saw the future. He contemplated our time. He described our time. Chapter 24 of Isaiah. Listen to every word with extreme attention. Behold, the Lord makes the earth empty, and makes it desolate, and turns it upside down, and scatters its inhabitants. And as for the people, so for the priest, for the servant as for his master, for the maidservant as for her mistress, for the buyer as for the seller, for the lender as for the borrower, for the giver of interest as for the receiver. This didn't happen in Isaiah's time. This didn't happen with the Babylonian invasions. This did not happen during the Assyrian captivity. It did not happen with the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans. This prophecy remained in suspense for 2,700 years, awaiting the exact time of its fulfillment. And that time is now. The earth will be utterly emptied and utterly plundered, for the Lord has spoken this word. The land mourns and withers. The world languishes and withers. The highest of the people of the earth languish. Truly, the earth is defiled because of its inhabitants, because they transgress the laws, change the statutes, and break the everlasting covenant. Did you pay attention to this devastating phrase? They break the everlasting covenant. They change the divine statutes. They transgress the laws established since creation. Does this ring a bell? Does this echo something that is happening in our generation? The systematic redefinition of absolute moral concepts. The alteration of natural laws established by the Creator himself. The deliberate breaking of eternal principles. Therefore, the curse devours the earth, and those who dwell in it become guilty. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men are left. Few men are left. This is one of the most frightening prophecies in the entire Old Testament. A drastic reduction in the world's population. An event of near total extinction of humanity. And for the first time in history, we have the technology necessary to make this a real possibility. The new wine mourns, the vine withers, all the merry-hearted sigh. The mirth of the tambourines has ceased. The noise of those who rejoice has ceased. The joy of the harp has ceased. They will not drink wine with singing. Strong drink will be bitter to those who drink it. The empty city is broken down. All the houses are shut. No one can enter. Isaiah is describing a complete civilizational collapse, not just war or a localized natural disaster, but the end of an entire era, the end of a historical cycle, the conclusion of a world system. In the streets there is a cry for wine. All joy has been darkened. The joy of the land has been banished. The city is desolate and the gate is a ruin. For so it will be in the midst of the land and among the peoples, as in the hiding of an olive tree, and as in the gleanings when the vintage is finished. But Isaiah was even more specific. He didn't just foresee what was coming. He pinpointed with surgical precision the precursory signs that would announce these apocalyptic events. And when you hear these signs, when you recognize these prophetic marks, you will understand why this generation is unique in human history. Chapter 29. Woe to Ariel, the city where David encamped. Add year to year, complete the appointed feasts. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there will be mourning and lamentation, and she will be like an Ariel to me. I will encamp around you as in a circle, and I will surround you with bulwarks, and I will build sieges against you. Ariel is Jerusalem. Isaiah prophesies that the holy city will once again be surrounded, besieged, and placed in extreme difficulty. And for the past 75 years, since 1948, Israel has faced war after war, conflict after conflict, always with Jerusalem at the epicenter of global tensions. Chapter 17. Behold, Damascus will be taken away to be no longer a city, but a heap of ruins. Damascus is historically recognized as the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world. For over 4,000 years, through empires, invasions, earthquakes, and plagues, Damascus has remained standing. But Isaiah saw its complete destruction. And today, for the first time in 4 millennia of history, this seems not only possible, but imminent. Syria has been plunged into a devastating civil war for over a decade. Damascus is constantly under bombardment. The ancient city's infrastructure is being systematically destroyed. Millions of refugees have fled. And with rising tensions involving nuclear powers in the region, Isaiah's prophecy of Damascus becoming a heap of ruins has never seemed closer to fulfillment. Chapter 19. Behold, the Lord is riding on a swift cloud and will enter Egypt, and the idols of Egypt will tremble before him, and the hearts of the Egyptians will melt within them. And I will stir up Egyptians against Egyptians, and they will fight each against his brother, and each against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom, Egypt divided against itself, brother against brother. And since the Arab Spring, since 2011, Egypt has experienced exactly this: revolution, counter-revolution, civil war, military coups, deep internal divisions that have torn the country's social fabric. Chapter 21. The Burden of Babylon. Babylon has fallen, and all the carved images of her gods have been smashed to the ground. Babylon, in this prophetic context, does not refer only to the ancient Mesopotamian city. It represents a global economic system, a global commercial empire that will dominate the planet in the last days. And when this system collapses, when this modern Babylon falls, the consequences will be catastrophic for all civilization. But among all the apocalyptic signs identified by Isaiah, there is one that is absolutely chilling in its contemporary accuracy. Chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. A complete inversion of moral values, a systematic redefinition of good and evil, an absolute relativization of fundamental ethical concepts. They call evil good and good evil. This perfectly describes the zeitgeist, the spirit of our age. We live in an era of unprecedented moral confusion, where absolute truths are considered oppressive and where ethical relativism is celebrated as progress. They make darkness light and light darkness. They present corruption as liberation. They sell degradation as evolution. They promote destruction as construction. Does this remind you of the contemporary world? Does this echo the dominant cultural narratives of recent years? And so we come to the culminating moment of Isaiah's vision, the focal point toward which all prophecy converges, the day established since the foundation of the world when divine patience finally runs out and cosmic justice manifests itself in its absolute plenitude. Chapter 63. Isaiah beholds a figure approaching on the prophetic horizon. His garments are completely dyed red. His eyes burn like flames of fire. His presence radiates absolute authority and unlimited power. Who is this coming from Edom, from Bozrah, with dyed garments? This, beautiful in his apparel, who marches in the greatness of his strength? I, who speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Why are your garments red, and your clothes like those of one who treads the winepress? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the peoples there was no one with me. I trampled them in my anger, I trampled them in my fury. Their blood was sprinkled on my garments, and I stained all my clothing. And here comes the most chilling revelation in the entire book of Isaiah. For the day of vengeance was in my heart, and the year of my redeemed has come. The day of vengeance was in his heart. It was not an impulsive decision. It was not a momentary emotional reaction. It was a deliberate plan. It was a determination established from eternity. I looked, but there was none to help. I was astonished that there was none to uphold me. Therefore my own arm brought me salvation, and my fury upheld me. I trampled the peoples in my anger, and made them drunk in my wrath. And I poured out their strength to the ground. Isaiah is contemplating the final day of reckoning, the ultimate moment when all injustice will be punished, when all corruption will be judged, when all evil will be eradicated forever. And that day will not be characterized by negotiation or compromise. It will be marked by absolute justice and divine vengeance. You have just witnessed the most terrifying vision ever recorded in human history. You have heard prophecies that remained sealed for millennia, and that now, before our eyes, begin to unfold with terrifying precision. You have beheld divine decrees that make the most powerful in this world tremble with fear. But here is the final question that simply won't go away. The question that will echo in your mind long after this video ends. Why did Isaiah record these apocalyptic visions? Why did the Almighty allow these revelations to reach us? Why are we confronted with these devastating truths precisely at this moment in history? The answer will surprise you. Because in the midst of all this prophetic darkness, at the center of all this apocalyptic judgment, Isaiah also beheld something more. He didn't just see God's wrath manifested, he also witnessed divine mercy offered. Remember chapter 6? Isaiah is terrified before God's absolute holiness. He cries out, "Woe is me, I perish, for I am a man of unclean lips." But then something extraordinary happens. Then one of the seraphim flew to me, holding in his hand a live coal, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. He touched my mouth and said, "Behold, this has touched your lips. Your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is purged." The same holiness that terrified also purified. The same fire that condemned also cleansed. The same presence that judged also saved. And after this purification, after this spiritual cleansing, Isaiah hears the voice of the Lord. "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And what was Isaiah's response? "Here am I, send me." The same voice that decreed apocalyptic judgment offers free salvation. The same authority that pronounced death sentences extends unconditional forgiveness. The same power that brings cosmic destruction provides eternal redemption. But there is one crucial detail you cannot ignore. Isaiah had to choose. Even after seeing divine glory, even after witnessing absolute holiness, even after receiving supernatural purification, he still had to make a decision. "Here am I, send me." It was a deliberate choice. It was an act of will. It was a conscious decision. And today, at this very moment, as you hear these words, you too must choose. You have witnessed the most frightening prophecies in the Bible. You have contemplated the signs that indicate we are living in the final moments of this age. You have heard truths that most people will never have the courage to face. The most terrifying vision in the Bible ends with a question that echoes through the centuries and reaches directly to you. Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And the only answer that can save you from the coming judgment, the only declaration that can guarantee your redemption from what is to come, is exactly the same one Isaiah gave 2,700 years ago. Here I am. The choice is yours. Time is running out fast. The signs are being fulfilled before our eyes. The prophecies are unfolding with mathematical precision. And the most frightening vision in the Bible has already begun to manifest itself in reality. If this revelation impacted you as much as it did Isaiah that day in the temple, if you feel the need to be prepared for what lies ahead, then click like now. Because people who recognize the urgency of the times deserve access to more revelations like this. And subscribe to the channel to be the first to receive the next prophetic visions that have not yet been revealed. Because Isaiah's apocalypse is just the first of many biblical secrets that I will reveal to you in the coming videos. The final question is simple, but its consequences are eternal. What will you choose to do with what you have just discovered?